And I want to talk to you about Operation Fortress specifically, which functions in Southampton, is a unit that's been running for almost 2 years now to combat serious drug activity, primarily but not exclusively in Hampshire. I'm keen that it should be kept and expanded and not closed as or come to an end of its term when the funding comes to an end in the next financial year. So I'm minded to invest another £1.8 million in extending its operational life and developing it slightly beyond the geographic boundaries of Southampton. Now, how do you feel about that in terms of its effectiveness as an operation? The way that it's dealt with drug criminality, and we know from the media that it's had successes in recent months. Is Operation Fortress a good investment for Hampshire Constabulary to protect people and places?
When we set up Operation Fortress, it was based on a concern that organised drugs gangs, organised criminals, would get a foothold in our force, and regardless of the very serious crime that those individuals cause, what they certainly bring beneath them in the shape of a pyramid is a whole wedge of other crime and antisocial behaviour misery from that relates to people stealing and engaging in criminality, sometimes with violence, in order to feed those habits. And there are individuals who have serious addiction problems that would need to steal an awful lot of property to feed those habits. So in the duration of Fortress, we've made well over 300 arrests. People subject to those arrests, and many of them are yet to go through the process, have been sentenced to over 150 years in prison. So it's got a really sharp edge, absolutely. Some really serious offending in that as well. One individual arrested a drug dealer with an AK-47 and ammunition, was sentenced to 11 years. Now, I would want to reassure the public that actually this is really very rare, but I want to make it even rarer under your plan. And we have been very successful, I would say, through Fortress. But it's not only about the sharp end. We have also worked with other partners, and the City Council in Southampton have been great to work with young people to make sure that role models around violence and drugs are shown not to be successful. So it's been successful. I mean, you know, in terms of facts and figures, I've given you a few. Drugs-related violence, and we can identify when violence is drugs-related pretty accurately, has fallen by over 60% during the period of this scheme. Intelligence relating to drugs-related violence, which is actually more, there's more than gets reported, I know that, obviously I'd like to narrow that gap, has fallen by over 50%. Now that's at a time when we've invested much more through Fortress in gathering intelligence about drugs-related violence. So I'm really sure that something significant has happened around making Southampton a very hostile place for people to deal in drugs at that serious level, and actually has worked very carefully with the community to actually make it unacceptable and help young people make the right choices. I think it would be a really useful thing to carry on. It isn't something that I would have chosen to wind up or integrate within the wider organisation for any reason other than a shortage of funding. So if you are able to make £1.8 million available to continue its work, indeed expand it beyond Southampton, I think that would be a very good thing for the communities of Hampshire and the Isle of Wight.
So how, when we talk about expanding beyond Southampton, what does that mean from an operational point of view? Does that mean setting up another unit somewhere else? Does that mean taking more interest in drug-related criminality in other parts of the two counties? What is the difference, if you like, between what's being done now and what expanding it would mean?
What that money would buy you as a commissioner would be the team of the continued activities and work of approximately 30 people. They work across the range of activities that I've suggested, from covert investigations and enforcement through to partnership working. And actually the way that, so it would continue those people in addition to all of the other work of the at the constabulary, so it would be value added and additional. And actually what I would propose to do would be to break down any boundaries within which we task them. So in terms of investigations, they could and would be tasked to other areas of, we call it threat, risk and harm, where that criminal activity is insurgent into our area. And quite often these people that are dealing are coming in from outside. And the other area which we would propose to extend it would be some of the partnership activity, particularly around schools, families and young people, which has been so well received in Southampton, to look to see how that team could extend that learning in person or through Safe and Neighbourhood and other teams into the communities that they serve. So partly it's about their activity, partly it's about their skills, knowledge and influence.